I'm just here, queen of the jungle. Excuse me, garçon, I need my candles lit. Yeah, I'm pretty extra in my home. It's just, that's just who I am. I like it. Good morning, friends. I am about to make coffee. Molly's also here.
Hi.
We're prepping for some work today, but I'm going to make a quick cinnamon coffee. So pretty much what I'm doing here is adding some cinnamon to my coffees in a French press. If it's just coffee for me, I use like an espresso maker thing for one. But because there's gonna be a couple of people here throughout the day, I'm just gonna make like a big batch of cinnamon coffee. All right, I've had my coffee. I made myself a little just lemon water and a little bit of sea salt situation. I find myself not drinking a lot of water. I'm just not like a thirsty person. So I like to kind of try and drink this in the first half of my day, refill it with just water and then drink that for the rest. But for breakfast, I'm more of a savory breakfast girl myself. And something quick that I like to throw together is like a vegan version of a BLT. So I'm going to achieve that with some smoked tofu, which is like my favorite thing for sandwiches. It's so, so, so good. Tomato instead of lettuce. I'm going to use some pea shoots, grown in Ontario. That's where I live. And then avocado. So it's like a California style BLT with just some, this is sprouted rye and 12 grain bread. I try to buy the healthiest bread that I can that isn't like really intense, that I still love to eat. For the tofu, I'm just gonna sprinkle it with some kala namak or black salt to give it kind of like an eggy flavor, and then put hot sauce on it, and that's a sandwich. Done! No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to start with the avocado. I'm also recovering from the flu. I haven't had the flu in like years, it feels like, and I'm trying to eat a lot of greens and things to make sure that I don't get sick again. I blame it on my flight. I almost never get sick. Okay, so instead of like a mayo or a butter, I'm just gonna use avocado. So I'm just gonna take some pea shoots on there. Cute, cute. So actually, this one is huge, so I'm just gonna add one little tomato, and then a little bit of black salt, slices of smoked tofu, a little bit of hot sauce, just cause, why not wake up with a little bit of heat. This is habanero, so I'm just gonna do a little dollops, cause, I like to taste my food. I just don't want my mouth to be on fire. I like to taste my hot sauce. There we go. And that, my friends, just a pretty basic like vegan version of a BLT. So the T is tofu, the B is bread, and the T is tomato and sprouts. It's a BLTS. I'm going to eat this, I'm going to drink my water, go do some work, and come back for lunchtime. Oh my god, so good. I have my phone ring, so it's perfect timing. All right, lunchtime. I have been pretty good at prepping my vegetables at the beginning of the week so I can just throw things together during the week and make like easy salads and bowls and soups and that sort of thing. So I have some chopped kale, some leftover onions, and what are these things called?
Cucumbers?
Cucumbers, that's what they're called. And a couple of just like random vegetables. So I'm gonna throw a nice salad together. I know we talked about like easy recipes that like indulge your comfort food cravings. Here's how a salad does that. This is the best Caesar dressing ever. And we're going to make like a loaded Caesar salad. Oh yes we are. With simulated bacon bits because they're vegan. And I have so many of them from a recipe that I did and I need to use them. As well as some leftover avocado from this morning, sun-dried tomatoes, beans from a recipe, some leftover, what are these things called? Peas. Pea shoots from this morning that need to get eaten, and then some chopped veggies. So I've already gone ahead and massaged my kale with my dressing. Let's talk about this for a second. I love to massage my kale with the dressing either the night before or that morning before because it breaks it down. Here's the thing. It might make your kale smell like farts. So just open it up and air it out first before you eat it because it does kind of smell like farts. just gonna add that to the bowl. For some more greens, and just because I have them and I'm not going to eat, you know, just sandwiches in the next couple days before these go bad, I'm just gonna add some pea shoots on there. And then some onion. I'm kind of styling this as if I'm gonna leave it like this, but I'm gonna toss everything with dressing, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Some cucumber. These are pretty much the veggies that I always have on hand, so I can just throw a quick salad together, or I can throw like a soup together, or some sort of like grain bowl or something. Here's the thing, when I eat, it's all more or less the same ingredients, just packaged in different ways, if you will. All right, I'm gonna add some dressing. I like a lot of dressing. I know there's already dressing on this, but here's the thing, it's my salad, and if you like less dressing, you can add less dressing. Like, if I'm perfectly honest, I don't eat a lot of salads because I just find most salads, like if I eat out somewhere, salads can be pretty boring when someone else makes it. I like my salads a very specific way. I'm not gonna eat it if I don't like it, so this is how I like mine specifically, and most people don't do it the way that I like, so I never order a salad when I go out. You may have thought, wow, you eat your salads in a really big bowl. No, that's just for tossing, because I like to take photos of the food that I make for Instagram, because that is my job. So I need to put it in a clean bowl, take a photo of it, and then I can eat it. I do junk food for a living, mostly. But there's people out there that make really beautiful salad bowls, so I have to compete with them. So I'm adding some beans just for some protein. There's protein in the dressing as well because it's cashew based. Oh, and if you want to make this, I like to make a big batch and keep it for the week. It's on my website. It's the, if you search like Edgy Veg Caesar dressing, it should come up. I'm also adding some peas for protein as well. And I just love peas and I eat a lot of them. And then sun-dried tomato. I know that these ingredients are not in a traditional Caesar salad, and I'm well aware of that. But it's a Caesar dressing, and that's why I called it a loaded Caesar salad. It's, you know, my own creation. Oh, my avocado, duh. All right, now I'm adding the bacon bits. This just adds like a nice salty crunch and a smokiness. And then there you go. That's my loaded Caesar salad. Salad. I'm so excited to dig into this. Maybe I should have left it in the bigger bowl. Oh my god. It's everything. It's crunchy, it's salty, it's creamy. I tried to twirl that as though it was spaghetti, which I think is what I'll have for dinner tonight. But clearly, I'm waiting for it. There is no better Caesar dressing. I think these guys need to go outside, given that they're pacing around like little psychos. So I'm gonna eat this, take them out, do some work, and we will reconvene for dinner. Hi friends, it's dark here because I live in Canada and it gets very dark for dinner time around here. I eat a lot of pasta. I love pasta. I think it is one of the greatest foods ever. And one of my favorite things to make is pasta al olio, which is just pasta, I'm using spaghetti, oil, and garlic. I like to do it with pepperoncini or chili flakes, and then also for a little bit of protein I like to add peas. I don't know why I'm waving this around. So I am just cooking some pasta in here. Meanwhile, I'm going to heat up some garlic and olive oil in another pan. So traditionally this dish, like in Italy, is just oil, garlic, and then at the end you finish it with like some Parmesan cheese and maybe some parsley. So I'm gonna use some elements of that and do my own version of it. Heat up the oil and the garlic at the same time. That way the garlic has as much time in the oil to infuse as possible. The key with this dish is the cooking of the garlic. So you want it to be cooked enough that it has flavor, but not so much that it's brown and then it becomes bitter. So you don't want it too browned and you don't want it to be too raw. I once read online about this recipe. The key is to just do it perfectly. That was the tip. Just don't mess up. I don't like to run my life that way, so I also don't like to make my pasta that way. So if I feel like the garlic is cooking too quickly, what I like to do is add a little bit of cooking water just to bring the temperature in the pan back down and bring the cooking down of the garlic. Because I like things a little bit spicy, I like to add some chili flakes So I like to add that to the oil as well, and that way the oil becomes a little bit spicy and garlicky. This is back in the day when I was married and I didn't feel like cooking. Let's say I was by myself that night or whatever. This is pretty much the meal I made all the time after, especially when I was writing the cookbook, because I would be cooking things all day and I just couldn't, like I'd been tasting, I just wanted something really simple and something quick and easy to throw together. I ate this like multiple times a week for dinner or like late night cravings. It is my absolute favorite pasta. I also have some vegan parm in my fridge, so I'm going to use that at the end, but you can also use nutritional yeast if you don't have access to a vegan version of Parmesan, or you can just leave it off altogether and just use salt. You also can use any pasta shape. I just prefer spaghetti because you can really coat the entire noodle. All right, in the last minute or so, I like to just throw in peas into the water. And those will cook at the same time as the pasta. They'll finish at the same time, and then you can just scoop out all of them and throw them into the pan. Action method. So I like to always save some of the cooking liquid in case I need to use it. So now I just kind of swirl the pasta around. We're going to add some vegan parm. The amount is really up to you. I like to add like between a quarter cup, half a cup, give it a nice taste, let it melt, add some more, and then sprinkle some on top. And then I like to add a little bit of the parsley to the pan just at the end. Saute. I like to leave a little bit in the pan so that I feel like when I go back for seconds, like I have more. I like to go back for seconds. There's just something so satisfying about it. I'm going in. Guys, I'm going in. It's the best pasta. It's so easy. It's like the cheapest thing on the menu. If you go to an expensive Italian restaurant, or like when I was in Italy, it was always like just a few dollars or euros. If you make nothing else from your recipe or of any of the recipes today in this video, you definitely have to make this one. It definitely is a game changer when you get access to vegan parm as opposed to nutritional yeast, because you get like the authentic original experience.